no rose. And fuck my ops when I'm about to expose. Now I ain't flexing, this shit like Texas, I'm holding. Bullets in his back, give him scoliosis. Damn, we gon' shoot at his knee, take it out, we gon' de-rose him. Binary trigger, the bullets hit talk, they explode him. Bitch, that got me back in the booth. And now I'm not from the UK, nigga, shout out to my youth. Nigga, shout out to the truth. I rock the center with bake, I like to do what I do. I spin the block with a daddy, I nigga won't know what to do. I been the aim at his brother and fucking hit his mama too.
Alright, chat, come on, tap in. We gonna stay in this
Over the
screen.
years,
I like this
Suspect
calm
would
vibe.
build a network of young gang affiliates that he would run with in the streets of Camden. Part of this lifestyle was drug dealing, or trapping, as it's more commonly referred to in music. Suspect and his friends were deeply involved in the drug trade, and they didn't care who knew it. In fact, one infamous video circulates depicting Suspect and his friends in a trap house making junkies dance for their amusement. As the story goes, Active Gang, the most recent and famous incarnation of the Camden gang set that Suspect claims was created around 2017 by local youths of predominantly Somalian backgrounds. The founding members came from around Agar Grove Road, not more than half a mile from Camden Town's most popular tourist attractions. The members came from the Agar Grove estate and the nearby Maiden Lane, Broadfield Lane, and St. Pancras Way estates. Most had previously repped the older Camden sets like Centric Gang, Cracktown, or CT1, much like Suspect. However, Suspect was not one of the original members in Active Gang, and he seemingly never actually lived around the Agar Grove estate. Or perhaps that's just how people see it, due to the fact that his foster family was actually based.
What?
I'm about to say, this thing right here.
That's him, yeah, that's him. No, wait, is this Suspect?
Nah,
Wait, run it back.
Nah, that ain't.
Lane, Broadfield Lane, and St. Pancras Way estates. Most had previously
That's
repped
sus.
the older
That's him.
Camden sets like Centric Gang, Cracktown, or CT1, much like Suspect. However, Suspect was not one of the original members in Active Gang, and he seemingly never actually lived around the Agar Grove estate. Or perhaps that's just how people see it, due to the fact that his foster family was actually based in Tottenham, but
Was in a care family was reported missing by his foster parents and tied him August 11th.
Suspect
He ran
himself
away.
would go on the run wherever he wanted in Camden
Yeah,
as a
he ran
teenager.
away.
Now, Active Gang is commonly referred to with the initials AGB, with the full name, according to the fans, supposedly being the Active Gang Boys, Active Gang Bandits, or Active Gang Bloods. However, Suspect in the song Caught in the Rain seems to insinuate that the name could also be Active Gang Bloodhounds. But regardless, there's a lot of names and faces that are going to be relevant when it comes to discussing Suspect's side of the war in Camden. One important name in the history of Camden gang beef
They all look locked up.
Is everybody in this shit locked up?
He locked.
He close as a bitch to the camera. He close as fuck.
I know he locked for sure. He definitely locked.
Him.
He definitely locked. Damn.
Chat, we gotta go reaction screen. We have to. We in the way. There we go. We'll be like that.
when it comes to discussing Suspect's side of the war in Camden. One important name in the history of Camden gang beef is Mitch. He's often considered to be the founding father of the street crew that would eventually go by the name Active Gang, with some claiming that Active Gang was actually started in his honor after he passed away. Then there's his cousin, S45. You also have AK, and then there's SY, aka Stain, Striker, Hitman, and his brother Blitz, Broad Day, aka Broad Day Assassin or BA, S-Wavy, AR, aka Armed Response, who interestingly also like Suspect went missing as a teenager in 2014.
These niggas go missing, come back, gangbangers and thugs, nigga. Actively in them fucking streets, allegedly.
There's Reeks and also Too Smoky. Now, active gang members from Agar Grove would also link up with other sets from the nearby neighborhoods, building alliances against their common enemies. Another street crew from the area that they're allied with is FSG, or Finesse, Stack and Grind, from the Denton and Ferdinand estates in the Chalk Farm neighborhood, with prominent members.
Niggas be having, they names for their crews be fire though. I said that in the last video, like they be coming up with some crafty shit. They be coming up with crafty shit, chat.
like T-Scam, who has made a name for himself as a rapper in recent years, as well as having an extensive connection to street activity. Another area that's connected with the active gang crew is NRB, or the North Road Bandits, from the York Way Estate and Corporation Street, including members like Yevs and ML. And of course the historic crew with origins from the Cracktown set, CT1, hailing from the Kernock, Three Fields and Bayham Place estates, with members like Traps and Alert. The alliance between these gangs will be known as 71st, based on the N7 and NW1 postcodes that these areas are located in. However, possibly due to the massive fame that Active Gang achieved in the UK drill music scene, many of the members from these affiliated gangs have been primarily repping AG or Active Gang, leaving gangs like CT1 to be referred to less in favour of Active Gang or more broadly 71st. But of course, there's no such thing as a gang without ops. So now, let's take a closer look at the other side of the coin and understand the group of rivals that these young men have been in a years-long war with.
Okay. Okay, okay. Alright, bet. Chat, my fault. Y'all back on stream. My fault. Okay, bet.
Now, before I go any further, I just want to speak on the topic of postcode wars. A postcode, or as Americans might...
Postcode wars. So this gotta be a lot of postcode shit, obviously.
Now, before I go any further, I just want to speak on the topic of postcode wars. A postcode, or as Americans might call it, a zip code, is the postage number corresponding to a specific area. In London, the idea of gangs warring over turf, specifically which postcode they're from, is very misunderstood. To many uneducated on gang conflicts, they seem to believe that the... These groups are quite literally warring over territory based on arbitrary numbers at the end of their mail, with many holier-than-thou folks often arguing in the comments just how stupid it is for these young guys to go to war over areas and buildings that they don't even own. One particularly funny TikTok actually pokes fun at this concept.
Yo fam, I've just met you and have no reason to dislike you. I too have just met you and have no reason to dislike you. With that being said, where are you located geographically in London? For me, I'm from E9. E9? That is a combination of a letter and number that does not correlate with mine. Unfortunately, this means that I either have to kill or rob you now. That is a reasonable response to...
What?
What the fuck, nigga?
Finding out my geographical location within London. I too will join you in this pillaging of your life or items.
Now, that's quite jokes, but it's important to me to explain that these gang wars in London are much deeper than the number at the end of a gang member's mail. While postcodes have become a prominent identifier in London gang wars, these beasts are historical feuds where blood has been spilled. An identifier in London gang wars, these beasts are historical feuds where blood has been spilled between friends.
Huh? You seen all that shit, bro? Go back. These are all gangs in London, bro.
Black, blue, red.
So imagine if, like, Pete, you live somewhere like over here, right? At the mall over here.
Yeah, I'm just not going to the mall there. Obviously, I can't shop.
Yo, nigga ask you what area code you from. I don't even know what the fuck.
Yo, where you from? I don't know.
04619.
I'm not answering
That
those,
shit about to give me
bro.
shame,
I'm from,
bro.
yeah, you say anything. I'm saying I'm from New York. I'm not saying none of that. I'm not doing none of that, bro. I'm not doing none of that,
In
bro.
London gang wars, these beasts are historical feuds where blood has been spilled between friends, family, or in some cases races over years and decades. And it's realistically very difficult to explain exactly why or to stop two rival groups that hate each other and want a war to the death. It's not dissimilar to historical clashes between nations, because when blood has been spilled, sometimes a war is simply impossible to stop. As it often happens, gang alliances are often based on common enemies, and in the case of 71st, their enemy is called 51st, which is also an alliance between multiple gangs that they're at war with. This includes QC from Queen's Crescent and the West Kentish Town Estates, as well as Peckwater from the Peckwater Estates and the surrounding area in Kentish Town, which are both in the NW5 postcode. And then there's Cumbo from around Cumberland Market and the Regent's Park Estate in the NW1 postcode. It's actually been said that the
Chad, we don't condone no violence. YouTube, we don't condone none of this shit. We ain't condoning none of this shit. We just updating ourselves on what we watching and what's going on in y'all neck of the woods. That's it. That's all.
Peckwater block wasn't home to a gang until around 2014-2015 when teens from nearby areas began to claim it as their territory without actually living there, with one commenter
That shit
online
kind
suggesting
of like,
that the gang...
but it's no...
It don't look like the hood.
Yeah, it don't look like the hood.
But that's the hood.
And there too, huh?
areas begun to claim it as their territory without actually living there, with one commenter online suggesting that the gang members who claimed the area actually live nearby or in the surrounding streets. Now, prominent members associated with the 51st postcode include C. Miz from the original Queen's Crescent set, or OQC. And then there's Chinks, originally from Cumbo. He was incarcerated for the majority of most of the violent clashes in this story. But upon his release, he would refer to his crew as one side rather than identifying under 51st, an alliance which apparently formed whilst he was still in prison. Then you have Culprit, also hailing from Cumbo, and another member allied to Peckwater, or the Waters, and a prominent rapper in his own right is Gutter, who has apparently gone by other names over the years. Other people involved go by the name of Action, aka Rex, Selly, aka Cell, or C2, affiliated with the Peckwater estate, but he would actually seemingly distance himself from the streets for a period, having ended up having a successful career as a model. There's also Lanks from Peckwater, Diggs from
He said, fuck you niggas. Nigga modeling, calling my name, I'm about to go get that bag. Brody like, fuck niggas, hell nah, I ain't with this street shit, nigga, I'm out.
Having ended up having a successful career as a model. There's also Lanks from Peckwater, Diggs from QC, Gambino, Frosty, Stings, Flips from Peckwater, JJ, Drills from QC, Lebs, Wanda, Creeps, Cons, RO, Goose, and R1. Now, that's not every single person from every single gang in Camden. That would be nearly impossible to find out, even if people do think I'm the FBI. But what it is really is a list of people who have been...
What the fuck?
They say even though they think I'm the FBI, some fed boy.
And R1. Now, that's not every single person from every single gang in Camden. That would be nearly impossible to find out, even if people do think I'm the FBI. But what it is really is a list of people who have been mentioned prominently in songs, the news, or in the local community, with their names and identities being made public either by members themselves who have dissed each other by name publicly, or by the authorities who unmask individuals when they accuse them or charge them with a specific crime, of which we're about to find out there are many. So, now you know the history and the people involved, let's dive in and begin to unravel the origins of this bitter and years-long beef. It's often the case in some of the most vicious gang wars that many of the members on each side actually started out as childhood friends. The war in Camden...
Knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Niggas was friends. And then niggas stopped being friends, start claiming other sets, and start putting shit together with other people, and niggas ain't like that. Now niggas turn to ops. Niggas turn to ops, bro.
Is no exception. And in this case, some of these guys who ended up wanting to kill each other actually started life playing together on the playground. This is something that Suspect actually refers to in very menacing terms in lyrics to his song Dugout, where he raps, "It's crazy how everything played out, because the parks and streets he used to run around and play with his friends in are now the same places that he would be plunging a knife into the chest of one of those friends," and saying that the same
Suspect, Grim Reaper.
streets that he would knock and ask his friends to come and play out on ended up being the same place where he would be hunting for those friends turned ops and asking them to come out so that he could kill them.
Yeah,
it's a
that's
sad
crazy.
state of affairs, and the self-awareness that Suspect had about these childhood friendships turned deadly beefs is chilling. Other posts on Reddit circulate, backed up by later lyrics, suggesting that many of the people from Agar Grove, Peckwater, and Cumbo all went to the same schools and started life as friends. Chinks would even show love to Suspect and tweeting about wanting to free him all the way back in 2015. However, as has happened many times before in these stories, from Chicago to Camden, once the youngsters from impoverished backgrounds get older and fall more heavily into the gang lifestyle, former friendships slowly break down until something happens that forces everybody to choose their side for good.
Nah, he not lying, bro. He not lying, bro. That's usually how it go.
Moreover, many of these youngsters had become
Started
used to
as
the
friends.
violence from a young age. For example, Mitch, an S45 from AGB, would experience the loss of their cousin Lefty, real name Mohammed Abdullahi, as early as 2013, when he was brutally stabbed to death. The three men responsible for the killing later alleged that they thought Abdullahi had himself shot at one of their homes only hours earlier, or told someone the location of the house, and they were apparently looking for revenge. In the hours following the tragedy, Abdullahi's father had appealed to young people in the area not to retaliate, an act which would later be praised by Camden's Somali community. During a speech he gave while receiving a peace award for his actions, the father would raise alarm about the young people in the area turning to the violent street life. But unfortunately, his warnings fell on deaf ears, and in the years that followed, the violence on the streets of Camden would only intensify. In
These niggas need therapy, bro. Y'all gotta understand when I say these niggas need counseling. They need it. They need it.
2015, Mitch would post on his Twitter that he had been out his mind since his cousin Lefty was killed. And then, The following year, in 2016, the mother of Dean Winston, one of Lefty's killers, and the person whose house had been shot up before the killing, would give an interview where she revealed that the gang who had been responsible for shooting their house was still harassing and threatening her family. According to one poster on Reddit, who claims to have lived in Camden at the time, knowing the people involved, the murder of Lefty loosely connects all the way to the present-day events in the modern-day Camden gang war. According to this story, Lefty's murder stemmed from a beef between young and old members from around the Peckwater estate, with both Lefty and Dean Winston having indeed lived in the Kentish Town neighbourhood of Camden. Lefty's house was very close to where the Peckwater estate is located, and Lefty was also
right around the corner down there.
Allegedly not only a cousin of Mitch and S45, but also a Peckwater OG called Wage, who was supposedly a big brother of Mitch and a former member of a gang called TMS, or the Money Squad, which we discussed earlier when looking at the early history of Camden gangs. TMS consisted of mostly Somali youths from Camden in the late 2000s and early 2010s, with one of the latest mentions of TMS being from a blog post in 2011. As suggested by some experts on the topic on Reddit, it's possible that eventually Mitch and other members of AGB, who are predominantly of Somalian background, ended up inheriting some of the existing beefs from older gang members that they were close to. And similar stories continue to circulate on Reddit in the past few years.
Ex-Demon, what's the
However,
word, Brody?
It also seems that during the mid-2010s, gangs in Camden stayed relatively united. Many of the youngsters who would later start beefing were allegedly together in this music video, although it's difficult to confirm them due to many of them wearing masks. However, around 2016, a number of unfortunate events would transpire in the streets, causing friction between these young men. According to one rumor on Reddit, things started after a member from Active Gang stole a watch from another man called Merce Dikanda from Peckwater. In fact, that man whose watch was stolen, Merce, would later be convicted for his involvement in another knife murder incident in Camden, where a male model killed another male model, Harry Uzoka, over a girl, following a knife fight in broad daylight that was captured on CCTV video. However, as always with Reddit rumors, many people firmly deny that the watch incident even happened, or that it had any significant effect.
Is this connected to the same shit? Because remember in the other one, they beef started over a watch. Yeah. So this gotta be that.
On the beef. Ultimately, many of these early stories explaining the origins of this war are nothing more than rumors that seem impossible to verify. But whatever may have transpired around this time, as far as I can tell, it seems that Suspect largely stayed on the fence in the brewing beef, and he would end up missing much of the events that transpired in the streets due to being in prison during these years. The exact timings of his incarceration seem shaky, but in May 2016, people were commenting on Suspect's Facebook saying, "Free him." And based on the information from his later legal proceedings, he also has convictions from 2017 for assaulting a constable and violent disorder. And at some point in 2017, Suspect would find himself behind bars.
Nigga in there with a fucking Versace robe. You think he give a fuck, nigga? This nigga in there with a Versace robe. Nigga, I ain't even got no Versace robe. He don't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck. He don't care.
For assaulting a constable and violent disorder. And at some point in 2017, Suspect would find himself behind bars again, this time not getting out until the following year. But while he would remain locked up, the beef was about to go to the next level, as over the course of 2017, a number of connected incidents would play out, escalating the violence in the streets and separating this group of former friends into opposing gangs that ended up in a full-blown war.
Damn. I don't even know.
What the fuck?
I don't even know, bruh.
Realistically, bro.
What the fuck?
Two niggas